Our goal is to convert the rectangular point to a polar point. So let's draw this rectangular point out. -1, 1, there's my point right there. My goal is to change this into an r, a radius, and an angle, a theta. We're going to use these formulas here. Let's start by finding the theta. So if I'm looking at the tangent or the angle, I want the sine over the cosine. So what I'm looking for is the tangent of -1. When I go into my calculator and say, check first, my mode is in degrees, inverse tangent of -1, I get a -45-degree angle. Remember, that is a reference angle from the x-axis. So my angle is 180 minus 45 degrees. 180 minus 45 is 135 degrees. So this is 135 degrees. So my angle right there is 135. The next piece we need to find is we need to find the r. So r squared equals x, which is -1, squared, plus y, which is 1, squared. So r squared equals 1 plus 1, which is 2. But since I need to find the radius, I need to take the square root of both sides, and the radius is rad 2. So on the 135-degree angle, rad 2 is approximately 1.4, so I would be at the same terminal point. Let's try this again. Let's draw this out. At 0, 2, there's my rectangular point. Well, if I'm looking at my r and my theta, I know right now that my theta is 90 degrees. So I can put 90 degrees or I can use pi halves. My radius is the distance from here to here. I can do it mathematically, or I can do it logically and know that's the distance of 2. There's my polar coordinate. Let's try one more. I have the point 3/2. So between 1 and 2, and 4/3 is between 1 and 2, so there's my point right there. Again, my goal is to find a radius and an angle. Let's go ahead and start with the angle. To find the angle, I'm going to take the inverse tangent of the sine, which is 4/3, over the cosine, which is 2/3. When I do that and take the inverse tangent, I get an angle of approximately 41.6. So this one we notice is not necessarily going to give me exact values because I'm at 3/2 and 4/3. I'm not at a whole number. All right, then I need to find r squared. So I'm going to take x squared, which is 3/2, plus 4/3, and that will give me my radius squared. When I do that and I add those together, I get 145 over 36. Again, that's r squared. If I want r, let's go ahead and take the square root of the entire thing, and I get approximately 2.007. So 2.007, and I didn't round to 2 because if it's not exact, I'd like to have at least a decimal. So here is my final answer.